All right, here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm your resident co-host, Will. Welcome to Heart of a Volunteer Veterans Podcast on this beautiful morning here in Lake Texoma, Texas.
That's right. Hey, we are at the Sniper Bar and Grill right now, just outside of the Lakeside Studios, established in memory of Staff Sergeant Richwell Doria, Dagger 81, which Will and I both served with, along with some other amazing folks. Will, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Chris. It's great to be here.
How are you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing well. It's been a long morning. I got up early as usual.
Right.
And got my butt moving. Really, for a long time I've woken up, felt like rigor mortis has set in a little bit, and it's hard. It's impossible to move. I know a lot of us feel like that, but I couldn't get my right foot to work, and my back didn't work for a long time. But I could still operate. But I finally I'm taking the time to heal,
Right.
And I'm here with Chris, and it feels good. It feels like home, really.
Hell yeah.
I think we as infantrymen always had two homes: the one we went home on leave, and the one we went to work every day. And they're both home. We're both family. So
does this feel kind of like an overdeveloped like fob?
Oh, it all does. Really.
Kind of like a little like a little fort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's the vibe I got when I first walked around here. It's like I don't go in the house very often. I spend most of my time, either in the studio, in the yard, or here at the Sniper Bar and Grill. On the computer, watching TV. We got a TV right here at the bar too.
If we had stayed at Fob Doria, I could picture it being a lot like this by now. We could have fixed it up quite nice.
Yeah.
It'd be stronger walls, but otherwise.
Right.
It's about the same size, isn't it, Chris? Honestly, I hadn't thought about it, but.
No, it's a little bit smaller, but.
A little bit, but.
It's got a nice footprint.
Yeah.
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 But no, man, early mornings here. We got up early. Getting our coffee, just kind of getting around. It's a little bit later in the morning because obviously it took us a little bit of time to get this set up. And then, we just had our own conversations to have, sidebars that aren't on the podcast itself. But, man, really good morning. Hey, so to talk about getting going, because I know a lot of veterans, they've been banged up from service. And getting up in the mornings is a little bit of a challenge. For me, kind of get my back and my neck warmed up so I can, do the kind of things I need to do. What does your program look like? And can you give us a little bit of background on how you got to this point and why?
Definitely. It's really, I've learned over the last 12 years in my healing and struggles, really. It is a struggle, or it has been a struggle for me. Some people make it look easy, but most of us struggle, and that's okay. But I've learned to be more self-aware of my body and I've learned a lot just about myself and the people around me, or I've tried to anyway. I can't say, I know more than anyone else, but I do know that healing is always possible, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was told a lot of things through my process with seeing different doctors and whatnot. And I had a lot of doctors tell me that I might not get better or it's probably going to get worse until I finally got a couple doctors that told me, healing is very possible. And although it might not happen, it's very possible if you keep positive that it will happen.
Right.
And it's a lot easier when you have someone telling you that to heal.
Now you had some pretty significant damage to your feet and ankles from Iraq. What have you done, to build them back up, to get you back on your feet?
Each time I talk about it, really, I remember a little more because initially I've told you that, I've been doing Tai Chi and yoga, and but if I was back home, My wife knows I've got all kinds of different, like, I'll have everything from a marble size up to like a spiky softball that with my feet I've had neuropathy in my feet
Right.
and nerve damage, so I soak them here. I've been soaking them in ice water and then putting them in hot water, or just cold and hot, really.
Right.
The difference is, but for a long time I'd be rolling my foot around on a golf ball or a spiky ball or vibrating, just different feelings to get those nerves
Right. Get them firing.
firing. And I do that every day. And I felt like the next day I wake up and I was back to where I started. But it was a couple hours every day to get to where my foot was working again. But it took me like 5 or 6 years to figure that out. Like, there was nobody telling me, roll your foot around. Like, but I figured out a lot on my own, which frustrated me a lot because I was really asking for help from a lot of people, and they weren't.
Right.
They were either they were just weren't telling me what I need to hear. But I think we've all learned as a culture, and us as Americans have learned a lot about healing in the last 12 years. So if you've been stuck in that cycle, just know that what they were telling you 12 years ago isn't the same thing that they'll tell you today.
Right.
And it's worth the shot to go try to get help again, because we've learned a lot. We're coming a long way. So.
You know, I've always talked to veterans, and I've even said on the show that we kind of owe it to the professionals out there that deal with issues that we have to give them an honest assessment. So when they ask us how we feel, we give them an honest assessment, even if we think it's going to shine bad on us. We still give them honest assessment so that they can get the reps that they need to help out another brother and sister that needs them to know the information,
Definitely.
to know the left and right limit of what they're going through, and find somewhere on the spectrum where they can help them. And that's the thing, man. It's like, coming on the show when veterans come on and talk about how they went from not having any help to discovering help. Like you said, man, your connection with your body that you didn't have, that you gained through yoga and Tai Chi, a lot of veterans can benefit from. A lot of people can benefit from. So
Meditation, really.
Yeah.
Just self-awareness. Meditation, the self-awareness comes through breathing and just feeling yourself, getting to know your emotional feelings and your physical feelings.
Right.
And just scanning through your body and finding out what hurts. A lot of times those things will be connected.
Right.
The physical things hurt emotionally, and the emotional things will hurt physically. They're very well connected. So
Right.
you can't treat one without the other.
Well, like you were saying, that's the importance of doing the meditation while you're doing it. You're meditating through the pain,
Definitely.
understanding it, and then finding its origin, and then almost kind of changing the pathways of recognition.
Definitely. You need to have a positive outlook. Like, I got a negative outlook at some point on certain things, and that just grows. You start to get negative outlooks on other things. You don't want to look negatively at much in
Right.
life. Have a positive outlook, and it's not going to fix everything. Like, I had a positive outlook, and I was being told, do this physically, like go to physical therapy, and then you go to a psychologist, and they try to meditate with you, and then and there's other things that work, but I needed to put all those things together
Right.
and do them at the same time, which
Right.
was, I learned them over a series of years, and I wasn't told to put them together, but I figured it out. Like, it felt like a video game to me. Like, Chris and I have been playing a puzzle game. It's like, I've been running around, like, I felt like I was running around the world, from Iraq to Thailand to Hawaii, because the journey started well before I got injured. Like, I
Right.
went in the Army. Like, it doesn't end there, and it doesn't start there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there's a whole piece to and I'm grabbing all these pieces of this puzzle and figuring out, well, which way do they go together? You got to, just like, I can't remember the name of the game right now, but like I told Chris last night, my life reminds me of a video game a lot of times. And sometimes if I wake up in the morning and I can't get to where I'm feeling right, I know, okay, I'm missing a piece, and I got to go out and maybe I got to call a buddy, or I got to talk to my wife, or maybe it's just I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Sometimes it's really simple. Like, I get up in the morning and I'm so worried about my appointment at the VA or my buddy that died yesterday that I don't eat. And then by 2 in the afternoon, I'm lost.
Right.
So you need to take care of yourself and have a routine, so you know how to heal. Like, it's important to stick to a routine and make yourself a priority. Otherwise, it'll never happen.
Man, I'm glad you found the connection, man. And I hope a lot, we're going to do some more episodes while you're here. And I hope that message continues to resonate through, so veterans can hear that, man, that you need to understand not only your body and the path that you've walked to get here. Those things come together to help give you peace and understanding.
Definitely.
So
it's an amazing feeling.
it is.
I just get a little taste of it, like start to meditate and be like, and have these revelations and be like, wow, like you can heal, like, oh my God. Yeah. And I get so excited, like, be like, I got to tell everybody, but really I just needed to sit back down and heal myself. But I was getting excited and wanted to call my buddies and be like, hey dude, like do this, but you can't do that. You can't be like, you don't want to tell someone what to do either way. Just take your time and heal yourself.
You know what? Let's do an episode on it. Let's just talk about
definitely.
The different things that we do to connect with ourselves. We'll do an episode. Veterans like it, they'll listen. If they don't, they won't.
It really surprises me that I haven't been back to the VA in a year and a half or so in the capacity that I first started. Like, it's distance. Like, it's the telehealth, and so I feel like it kind of went back in time a little with the telehealth, because that's a difficult thing to do, to be a doctor to somebody over. But I'm glad they're trying. We're short on doctors, but initially when I went to the doctors, and I was exploring things like Tai Chi and yoga, but I trusted the VA to a certain degree, and I trusted their medicine to try to help me. So when I told them, oh, I'm thinking yoga and I'm thinking about doing some herbal medicine and maybe going vegan, and really they actually laughed at me and I made me feel stupid. I was like, oh, okay, but now if you went back here or back there 12 years later, they're going to suggest to you that you do Tai Chi, yoga, and eat vegetables and things like that. And that's amazing, that they're now going along with what I said. It really ticked me off at first, but that's nothing. You can't get angry. There's no reason to get angry. They were trying their best. They had so many guys coming to them saying, I'm all messed up, my head don't work. And they're like, they don't know what to do. They haven't been through it, And it took a lot of guys through the healing process to really learn.
It's I think that's a great segue, man, into the next piece. You talked about the 12 years, from the time you got injured, and basically you've been in the recovery system, right, that the military has and in the VA, that veterans and suicide, we've taken these small steps. Once again, we are the just like sonar, just like GPS, it all came from war. Suicide is kind of a new war thing, I guess you could kind of call it, where we're just now getting our heads wrapped around it, and we're coming out of this old way of dealing with it. And then we talked about President Trump came out and with the Prevent program. And with that program is going to be a change to the 10-digit hotline, right? The Suicide Prevention Hotline number. Yes. You want to talk about that?
I do. This new program, it's the president's roadmap to empower veterans and end a national tragedy of suicide, which really sounds like a great program to me. Well, it definitely is. I don't know that there's a ton of information out there about it yet, but I've been slowly learning about it and the changes they're implementing. And just the phone number is a great thing. Like, to be able to dial a 3-digit phone number, nobody's going to remember the old suicide hotline, which we will have it up on screen.
Yeah, 273-8255 or talk.
Yes. Yeah. I guess you could remember it, but anybody that's been struggling with chronic pain and actually thinking about suicide or anything like that, they're probably not going to remember that or even want to call. So just know that if a loved one's or somebody you know or even yourself is struggling, there's an easy number to call now, and you'll at least get someone to talk to and get some help.
Well, not now.
Well, not now,
but soon. Like Billy was saying, is within the Prevent program, they're going to be implementing July 16th, 2022. 988 will be the 3-digit number instead of a 10-digit. 1-800-273-8255. Yes. It'll be chopped down to 988. You and I were talking, man. We had our first cup of coffee, and we were talking about this little bit of news. Why 2 years? Yeah. Are we not, do we not own the systems that operate the telephones. We can't set that up and, and jump on the, with government TV ads, reaching out to podcasts. Hey, get this out to your veterans. The 988 is the new suicide prevention hotline number. We can't get that out. We can't, it's crazy to me that we can't do that and make it easier now. We're going to wait 2 years to implement a change.
It should happen faster than that, I would hope. But they're implementing other changes before that. The program is starting now.
Right.
Yeah, I have had experience with the old program, and I'm definitely glad that there will be changes. So.
We were talking about Sean Hess, right?
Yes.
And Sean was saying that, whenever they would get like a 911 call and dispatch would hit out like, hey, we got a veteran in trouble. It's still going to 911. You've still got police officers responding. And like Sean was saying, they try to get other veteran police officers to respond because it's easier for them to deal with because they understand. They're almost like mini therapists in that veterans world. I think the 988, man, is going to be solid because if you get a 988 call, hey sir, are you ma'am, are you a veteran? I am. I'm struggling over here, and they know exactly who to send, the right resources for what's going on. I think that's a better program, man.
Definitely. Definitely.
I just wish we could get that thing fired up now.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Seems possible.
A 10-digit number. I get it. We should be able to, to do that. And you probably can whenever you're in, you've got your mind, your feet underneath you, and you know what's going on. But when you're thinking about harming yourself or harming other people and yourself, the periphery shoots down, and all you're looking through is a little avenue of thought. Everything else is clouded.
Yeah.
And if anything, 988, like 911. Hey, who do you call, kids? 911.
It's definitely something that we
988.
Put in people's heads. For sure.
Real easy to do. You could probably even link that to Surrey. Yeah. Surrey, call 988. I'm struggling. There are a couple of apps.
Well, it is a national suicide hotline too. From my understanding, I know the old one, it wasn't just for soldiers or veterans.
Right.
When you call, you had to either press 1 or 2 depending on whether you were a veteran or not. There was a difference in the hotline, but yeah, it's a national tragedy, as it says it right in the title, and prevents. And the national tragedy, I feel like, is something that should be at the forefront of our minds, just like the coronavirus. I mean, they say we're losing 22 guys a day to suicide, or 22 guys and girls, men and women, who served our country and volunteered to give their life to defend our country, and then they take it themselves because they can't handle life, and they should be able to. We should be able to help them. So that's good that we're really putting it at the forefront. So I hope it happens sooner than that. And there's probably some things we can do. I know people.
Well, we're taking
people in D.C. or I could call President Trump myself if I had to. But.
We're taking a different view on mental health now.
Definitely. It used to be a stigma, a bad thing. But.
Yeah, and this is the crazy thing, and I'd like to do an episode on this, later on. But here, when it comes to mental health through history, communities took care of their people with mental health. There was no stigma involved. It was just that, hey, John's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And they bended things for those people so they could stay within. At some point, we started chipping them away.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, since there was a stigma with it, if you have mental health, hey, we don't really want you a part of society. So if you're doing that to yourself, you're just solving the problem for us.
That's
without us really doing it.
That's a huge breakdown in society, because those are people's mothers, fathers,
right.
brothers, sisters. And
right.
we do need to bend for them and keep them a part of our community
at
all costs.
And I think we're doing that now.
We're
with the stigma behind mental health, knowing that if you are struggling, there is a way.
We didn't understand it. Usually, if you don't understand it, your first reaction is to fear it, and that's
right.
a natural reaction.
Right.
What is that? Oh my gosh! Like, it might be something beautiful and harmless, but naturally, if you've never seen it,
right?
Oh my gosh, what is that? And then once you slowly get to know it, And it's a complex thing. Mental illness is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to talk about or to diagnose, or it's extremely complicated. We're all different,
Right.
but similar.
Well, we've got to figure out the mental health thing, because we've got a brand new branch of the military, Space Force. Once you start going up into space, getting radiation, isolation, we're going to have to figure out what makes people tick.
We want to know that they can adapt, and we're learning that people can adapt in crazy ways.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to be spacefaring people, but we got to get our head around the mental health aspect of it, because our brains are going to change, right? But speaking about the Space Force, September 1st, they're going to bring in 2,410 of the airmen that qualified for the Space Force transition. They'll be bringing them in, and then of the 8,500 that signed up, airmen and officers in the Air Force side that signed up for the transition over to the Space Force, they will be transitioned over later on in the year. But it seems like, man, they're building up, with some pretty good MOSs, from the Air Force, like one C6,
it's the final frontier.
13 chucks, all kinds of stuff.
Definitely.
But I'm excited about that, man. We watched the Space Force, a couple episodes of it.
Yes.
And if it's anything like that, it's going to be very, very science-y.
Right.
With the whole aspect of, the people that are in charge of it have never been to space. So there's a little bit of comedy behind it.
Yeah.
That I think it's kind of it's over embellished, but it makes sense.
It's a funny show. They're taking the humorous aspects of what would be our Space Force and making light of them. So, and it's a very exciting situation. I like to see it. The show does give me a premonition of what I feel like the Space Force might be like in all its glory. And
right.
We don't have a clear picture of what it's going to be yet. It's exciting. Since we went to the moon in the 60s, really, we haven't had anything that exciting to look forward to. Like watching the SpaceX launch was exciting to me. And seeing there's a lot of good going on in the world right now. A lot of exciting things to see, even though we're supposed to be cooped up at home, or we're socially distancing.
This is a good time to do science, man.
There's so many good things to do right now. Like just take it easy. At the very least, heal and breathe and take in some information, take in the beautiful world around you.
So do you think that the Space Force, you think they're going to take up the residents there in Colorado Springs? Cheyenne Mountain, maybe, area?
Definitely, partially. Yeah. From what I hear, I'm interested to see how big it's going to be, and whether, are we going to put up, we have an international space station, but should we have our own, or a base on the moon? It sounds like they make it sound like we're headed to the moon.
Boots on the ground.
Boots
on the ground.
I bet you, yeah.
Boots on the moon in 2024.
We're probably going to have our first military base on the moon, and then we already have ambitions to go to Mars, and this has been talked about for, I feel like, almost 100 years now. So this is definitely where we've been going. Like we're getting to where we're going. America's right on track. It might seem a little strange when you wake up every day. It always does to me, but this is where we're supposed to be. Just have faith that we're going to do great things.
Yeah. I want to say either later on this year or in 2021, the new Dune is supposed to come out.
The new Dune.
The new Dune. And then awesome. I believe a year after that, The Foundation is supposed to come out. And there's a trailer for The Foundation that's out, which is Isaac Asimov's series, The Foundation, which is basically this galactic confederacy, right? Predates Star Wars and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, right on.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of good science fiction stuff that's coming out, stuff on Netflix and everything. Speaking of Netflix, they have got a great show that we just found out about. Just came up on the list. Father, Soldier, Son, which follows an Army Ranger starting back in 2010, Brian Eash. And, it started out as kind of a documentary, but then, his kids really got involved in it after he was injured in Afghanistan, lost, I believe it's his lower right leg. And so from the trailer, which is amazing, it's got a lot of stuff about his kids. in that dynamic of, he was a single father. Should I stay in? Should I, we haven't seen it yet, and I can't wait to do it, and we'll do an update on it. But we just want to kind of bring that out for everybody to keep that on their radar.
It's an amazing opportunity. I think that the fact that the camera crew got it before, during, and after.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's a pretty full picture, that'll be great to see.
And the thing is, man, it looked like there was there is some old footage, which, like you said, ties everything together. But man, it just seems like they caught Brian like at very vulnerable moments that very, very few of us ever get a chance to see somebody like.
Definitely.
But we've seen ourselves.
I couldn't imagine having a camera in the room doing that. He's got to be a strong person.
Man, I really hope that this documentary, it helps others. But I hope Brian gets a lot from this.
Just to see someone else going through that, if you've been through it before, on TV, in front of a camera, it's got to be, help. It's got to help heal, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this thing this afternoon. It's going to be good. We'll do an episode on there. Maybe we'll bring in a couple other veterans and talk about it and see what their take is. I would love to to reach out to Brian and maybe have him come on. Maybe I'll do that here later on today, and we'll see if we can't maybe do an impromptu and just kind of introduce him to the podcast and stuff like that.
Definitely.
We'll see what we can do, man. That'd be good.
Awesome.
Well, hey, man, we've got an unlimited possibility of things to do today and this weekend. I've got a Zoom call with some veterans. We're going to talk about fatherhood. You've got some veterans that just had babies, first babies, and they're totally excited. So I want to really bring them on and just share their excitement for being new fathers. And we got one old father. Steve Perchek's going to be on.
Awesome.
He's going to come on and talk about his daughter and what he thinks about fatherhood. But these young fathers, man, it's going to be exciting to talk about that. Talk with them. And then we got the hiking trail.
Yes.
Got the hiking trail.
It's beautiful down by the lake. We did a little hiking with. We did a little hiking
Yesterday with Magnus.
Yeah, yesterday with Magnus. I'm still. It feels like I've been here a few days already. I'm still. Yeah, it's only been a day and a half, 2 days, I guess, right?
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah.
I have a little trouble with time sometimes, but I just like to not think about it and just live in the moment, I feel. So, yeah.
Man, I really hope that you can be like the day before you're supposed to leave, like that night, like my phone goes off and goes, don't forget Billy has to get on a plane. But hey, man, I'm taking the airport tomorrow morning.
That's kind of how I'm trying to do it. I don't want to think about when I'm leaving or anything like that. Just enjoy my time here. They say that's the secret to life, is enjoying the passing of time. So
it is, man. You know what they say? Lake time.
Just enjoy.
You're on lake time.
Definitely.
It doesn't exist.
It feels good. You can feel the water. You can feel you're close. Can't wait to get down there today. It's supposed to be a hot day. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good time. Hey, if anybody is in the Lake Texoma area, there is a great hiking trail over here. It's called Cross Timbers Hiking Trail. And it starts just on the other side of 377, like when you come over the bridge from Oklahoma into Texas. As soon as you get off the bridge, you make you turn right into just a little area that's got a boat ramp there, and the hiking trail goes all the way around, like 26 miles out and 26 miles back. There's tables, there's campsites along the route. Some of it you're in the woods, some of you're like right up on the shore of the lake, just making your way right along. So if you're in the area and you'd like to get some hiking in, then definitely come and come check it out. Hey, we got some veteran visitors going to be coming and seeing us.
We do. We have a couple so far that have committed to coming and seeing us, hanging out.
Now you have got Devin Walker's been on the podcast before. He's coming down. We're gonna try to get him on an episode, but you've got a great story about Devin and what we're getting ready to do when he comes here.
Well, I was in 3rd Platoon. Devin and I were Spartans together for a little while, and we did talk quite a bit. He talked about fishing a lot. He talked about noodling and catching catfish. Like, I'd never really heard that story from anyone. Like sticking your hand in a hole and pulling a big, huge catfish out and throwing it on the bank. And we talked about a lot of things, especially deployment. We'd sit in vehicles on OPs for hours and hours on end and just talk about who knows what. But I never really knew if any of that was going to come to fruition. You didn't know if you're going to make it out of that country or not. So,
oh, yeah.
So, like, to now actually have Walker coming over, and he's gonna like catch us some fish and cook them up. That's pretty exciting. You know,
It is.
That's awesome. You know, so it's like dreams do come true.
Yeah.
You know?
Me and Devin have been trying to get together for probably about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Trying to somehow link up. There was
It's
times.
difficult.
There's times where he was close to me, but I was out. I was close to him. He was out.
It was difficult when we were deployed sometimes. Like I was trying to see dudes. Like if I wanted to go down and see Devin, I was in first platoon and
Yeah, they're in the
wasn't
compound.
around when where they were gone.
Right.
And I'm trying to see guys. I had buddies in 127 or 227 and guys that were interpreters that I knew from Iraq. Like I'm trying to see. And it's hard to meet up with people. And now here 12 years later, I miss everybody. Like I haven't seen anybody in a long time. So.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling, but it's hard to miss people too.
Hey, we're gonna get like I said, man. We're gonna try to get as many people to swing through and see you. This is, I mean, if you're gonna be in close to the middle of the United States, if people can find the time to get away. If anyone wants to come here and hang out when Will's here, you got a place to stay. If you bring some beans and something to drink with you, we'll throw them on the grill. And but other than that, I mean, tons of food here. Store right down the road. We'll get you fed,
Figured out,
and we'll get you smiling. It's too easy.
Yes.
Too easy. We got Matthew Bauman. He's going to be coming up.
Can't wait to see
Doc Bauman is going to be coming up from Austin. Probably here like about a week and a half, something like that. That's going to be a good time. Awesome. I always like talking to Matty. Matty's a good guy. You know what? This is crazy. So Matt and I were in Hawaii together with you.
Yep.
My last deployment, I'm at FOB Bostic in Afghanistan, and all of a sudden, I'm in charge of the FOB, so I go out to the flight line, and new people show up, and there's Doc Bauman coming from 101st,
That's crazy.
An attachment, and he was there for a few months. Man, it was good hanging out with him. We'd go have lunch. We'd sit out and talk a little bit, and kind of catch up, and he even came to the promotion board while he was there.
That's really neat that happens. Really, it's a small world.
Yeah.
My second deployment, I ran into a guy I went to high school with, played soccer with for 4 or 5 years in high school, and maybe even longer than that. But he's a guy. His mom was a teacher at our local high school or our local elementary school, and I run into him in the trial hall and find out he's going on patrol with us that week, and he's PSYOPs, and he's supposed to be out with me the day that my vehicle actually got hit.
Right.
And that's a crazy connection to have someone from your hometown that I didn't even know he joined the Army, and then all of a sudden, hey, what?
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. You see somebody you think you know, or you're halfway across the world, and you things look recognizable, but they're not the same. But sometimes they are. It's nuts. I saw a lot of people I knew over there, honestly, from different places.
Man, it does amazing things. Like I was telling you, we talked to John Dale of Wheeler. Wheeler FaceTimed us yesterday, right? Yeah. Just out of the blue, like no text message. Hey, you guys free? Hey, you want to do a video? He just jumped right in on it. Yeah. And I love that.
And he ain't but a couple hours away from where I live and back in New York. So it's just like we're hopefully going to meet up when I go home. My wife would love to see him. John, there's people. My wife, when you're married, your spouse is very much a part of it too. So it'll be nice for my wife to see those people too. So,
definitely.
That'd be awesome.
We'll have to get John down here, man. It'd be fun to have him come out. Yeah. Hang out for a week.
John David's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. All right, brother. Well, hey, I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Definitely.
You got anything in closing?
Just have a beautiful day. It's supposed to be hot. Hydrate and just enjoy life. We got just nothing but good news as far as I'm concerned. Yep. All good.
Hey, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Obviously, we didn't have a SOG episode. We'll get after that next Friday. We just wanted to have a little coffee time with you and just kind of chat about some odds and ends. And, it's great to have Billy here. If you're a veteran out there, you want to come on the podcast, we can do it over the phone, or you can come right here and relax with us. It's very low key. If you come down and you need a place to stay, you can stay here too. Once again, Billy, it's great to have you here, man.
Thank you, Chris.
And you're making the podcast amazing.
Awesome.
All right.
It's all you.
Everybody, we will we'll talk to you later.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.
Copyright Heart of the Volunteer 2020.